Oh, fuck, Ethan's not here to dab. Fucking useless.
I can dab.
Alright.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I don't have a
Wait.
camera, but dabbing in spirit.
Alright. And we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Masterwork Adventures. We're here with this week's episodes of the Tales of Revedia, in which we tell you tales which take place in Revedia, hence the name. Today, we have our wonderful cast of characters, minus one, but it's okay because he's pretty forgettable anyways. We love you.
Notice you meant the person, not the character they play.
Yeah. I meant specifically the person.
You didn't know who he is.
Oh my god, I was talking shit and I forgot how to continue talking. Alrighty. So we have our good old Elven Ranger with a plus 36 to hit, Zelthar, who's going through a very interesting experience right now as we're back in his home in the northern lands of Revedia. We have our... I need to think of something besides ever skeptical.
But
I'll think of something good. It is true, but that's... We have our... Oh, she's got 3 knives. How many knives is too many knives? That's the question, I guess. We'll have to tackle that next week. I don't think she has too many knives yet, but she's at the point where you got to start asking questions.
There's too many knives.
There is definitely a thing as too many knives, and that question is what makes me believe in the answer. Our wonderful rogue Terran. We have our nature boy, Kalis, covered in animals, hailing from the Feywild. Also carrying around the arm of an Ent over his shoulder. We don't question it because it's a sad story, but it's okay.
Again, this has been canon since the first game.
Yeah, since the very first session. And lastly, we have our bundle of explosive chaoticness, Sparks, our wild magic sorcerer.
Wow.
If it's shiny and if it poses a threat to him, beware, because he's either bringing it into his pocket or he's taking it to the other side of the planet.
That was once.
As opposed to the number of times you've lost all your fur.
Shut up.
Oh boy. So, to briefly recap what had happened 2 weeks ago, the party had begun traveling northwards to the Frosted Edge. Let me scroll over the map so you guys can actually see what the fuck I'm talking about. One of the far northern sections of Revedia, the Frosted Edge, is sort of known as a more no man's land for the humans who live within. Very much that sort of pioneery tundra type feeling, as the only real inhabitants are those deeper inside, in like the city of Followforge, and those of races like the elves and dwarves who've made their homes in the mountains and forests, isolated from the rest of civilization. And as our party was making their way up further north, I believe you guys were headed straight to... Did you guys make it past Followforge? Or I believe you're between Hearth's Edge and Followforge, or were you past that?
We're past Followforge, and we're heading closer to my area.
Yes, okay.
I thought we just saw it inside at the end of our last session. And then,
Okay, I think I recall.
I think we went through Hearth's Edge. I don't remember myself.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hearth's Edge is the city at the borders of mountains. That's sort of the gateway towards the north.
Yeah, I'm crazy. Don't listen to me.
Look at this fucking guy. Jesus. But they noticed some peculiar signs as these various, not only creatures, but other objects, frozen completely solid either in blocks of ice or other things, and through some historical knowledge, the party was able to glean that those may in fact be signs of a white dragon lurking the area. But, regardless, they press on, until they find themselves getting closer and closer till there may be... lives a few days away from the village itself, and they found the party being encompassed in this massive wall of thorns. sort of surrounding them from all sides. Just the spikes jutting out from the ground, and maybe about 40 feet ahead of you, you see this sort of lean female elephant figure, and she's just sort of staring at you all. And as the name Zelthar leaves her lips, as her head cocks, the thorns fall, and the spell breaks. You just see her sort of standing there staring.
Do I recognize the elven figure?
At this distance, you recognize the voice way more than what's it called? The voice much more than the face. And fuck, scrolling. What's her name?
Start with an S.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Fuck.
That's a strange thing.
It's an elfin tradition. Shakrana. Yes.
Ooh. Shock. Rana, is that you?
She's sort of. What are you doing back here? What?
I got a letter that this area was under attack, and I thought I could help.
And you see her just sort of standing there dumbfounded, more surprised than anything else. It's just. Who are these people? Why have you brought... Are these your friends?
Yeah,
You made friends while you were gone.
I believe so.
Wow.
Bark smiles.
Incredible.
That's a bit harsh.
So funny. I'm sorry.
It's not that bad, surely. Elijah's muted himself.
No. I'm just surprised. He's never been the type for lots of friends, especially ones that are so tall.
Sparks
Sort of
looks at
looking towards
himself.
Kaitless.
It's like,
Oh my god. Are you a druid?
Oh, it talk. Yes.
I am just so interested in just the whole plant thing.
Yes, they're quite nice. Just sort of looking up at this slightly alien form of Kalis to at least the people of this area.
It's Uncanny Valley, let's be honest.
Yeah,
With
a
those
little bit.
Animal lips.
A little. Does he have deer
It's like
teeth
if
or
you
like
ever
human
watched
teeth?
Zaboomafoo, where they have the lemur talking on the kid show.
Zelthar, you going to introduce me to your friends, or
Yeah.
yes?
So this is Kalis right here. As I kind of like look up.
Is Is that a spell? How did you come about the Is it similar to a polymorph? It's very interesting.
Well, sorry, doesn't really matter. How did you do that with the thorns, though?
It's magic. You can. What do you mean? It's spell casting. I simply asked them to grow.
Anyways, my girlfriend right here. Her name's Taryn, and the cat's name is Sparks.
Pleasure to meet.
Tabaxi. Zeltha.
Did I say cat?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
I am not a cat. I am
Oh, I need some facts.
Bigger than a cat.
And bigger also.
And also, guys, this is my sister. Her name's Sharkana.
Ah.
Wonderful to meet you all. I'm going to be honest. I knew the letter was being sent out, but I didn't expect you to actually return. Are you sure you want to come back? Do you realize your father and fuck, I'm sorry. I'm slipping on names.
It's okay.
It's been a week. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah, I swear to God, oh, I'm sorry. I was reading the document like 3 times to one paragraph because I couldn't find the fucking name, and then I thought it was just a verb. I just didn't realize what the word was. But it's like, Father and Roland are not going to be happy. Well, they're not going to be happy that you left. I'm sure they'll be incredibly happy that you've returned, but are you sure this isn't a mistake?
I honestly don't know, but I'd rather come here and see what the problem is than not come here at all and something horrible happening.
Sort of sad. I think before you make your decision, I should at least fill you in on what's going on. Have your friends follow me. I know a small grove we can go to, a little alcove where we can hide from the weather. As she starts, making her way through the forest ahead of you guys.
I would like to insight check her just to make sure everything's on the up.
Do I believe her?
I feel like you do, but I just want to make sure because I don't know. Like,
No. I'm saying is that's what you're supposed to say. Not I'm going to insight check them, but you know. Oh,
So
never
she
mind.
did like warn us though. It's
From
like
what
an
you-
anti-trap.
At the very least, you can tell that she seems stressed about something. You're not sure really what besides that, but she's elves don't really age, but she's looked like she's seen better days.
So, are we in a forest or?
Yes, it is. It's not like it's like one of those like tundra forests. Like there's like it's like a lot of like what's the word? Like pine and various other evergreen trees, and sort of caked with what's
taiga.
it called?
Taiga.
Is that what those are called?
Mhm.
Yeah.
In Minecraft anyway.
Fucking learned a new word today, I guess. But caked with snow as well.
Sparks will call out. Excuse me, miss. There doesn't happen to be any tree ants around here, does there?
She sort of looks at you, confused. Is that an issue?
No, I would prefer to go to a place that there isn't tree ants, if at all possible. I've had enough.
I haven't had any.
You're a very peculiar fellow. I don't think there are any where we're going at least, but it's a large forest, and it's a large and old forest, so I assume there's maybe, who knows. I've not spoken to any in a while at least.
Okay.
And as she sort of leads you guys all to this small sort of outcropping of rock on the side of this large mountain where you guys have this brief like reprieve from the weather around you. And she sort of sits herself down. So, where should I even start? I'm quite curious about your journey, so I thought it wasn't... Almost feels like yesterday where you decided to run off to Fallowforge to see what the world had for you. It's like, was that yesterday? No, that was 2 years. Sort of counting on fingers.
Around
Anyways.
here. It was wonderful.
Yes, I can see you definitely made your time worth it. sort of gesturing towards everybody. Not giving off not an unfriendly vibe, but more like a, this is my sibling. You guys are very strange people. I'm a little concerned, but he's happy with it vibe.
To be
How
fair,
long ago had
any-
Zelthar departed?
It was maybe a year ago, something like that. Was it Zelthar? A year and a half at this point? Not too long.
I lost track of time at this point.
And while you lost track of time, it seems, how do I say? Your absence wasn't exactly kept quiet by the other families. Recently, the Eric family has been up to some, I would say, mischievous things, and well, we don't have any proof of which. We believe that them and their use of the undead is starting to damage the forest around us. And this is part of the reason why, in that letter, there was talking about an issue with Father, and it seems he's gained some sort of illness. I've been working with him for the past maybe a month and a half or so, but I can't seem to figure out what could be the cause of this. It's a strange sort of almost magical like disease, and it's been a lot going. I should start at the beginning. Just sort of takes a minute to just sort of calm yourself. Should I explain for you? So I'll just do it. Because assuming they're your friends, they're going to get involved in this as well. Zelthar and I are the Rohorn family. We take care of much of the trapping, the hunting, and the various other natural activities that occur within our region. We are not the only family that exists. It's also the Eric family. The Eric family are, to stretch to almost, it disappoints me to say that they are the same race as us, but they're a group of elves who are much less, or barely much more than disgusting, ruthless cutthroats, who, through over whatever amounts of study, have managed to gain powers over things like the undead and other arcane practices. But they are mostly specialized in that of necromancy, and the community treats them as such. The last of which is the Trannon family, and they're good people, but at the end of the day, they don't seem to be an issue around here. They get along with everybody perfectly fine, but the issue comes with the Eric family, which I was just speaking of. We're led to believe that they're, how do I say, them partaking in these necromantic arts is starting to infect the environment around us, and whether it's been the strange symptoms or strange features of animals that have been brought in from hunting trips, or that of certain parts of the forests, certain patches, trees just wilting away. There's no other explanation as to what it could be besides them. And as I mentioned before, the illness that has come upon my father, I cannot confirm, but I suspect it's due to to whatever ill intent they have as well. They've never been so bold to do something like that before, so I'm skeptical if they would really just attempt to lay waste to everyone else, but at the very least, I'm suspicious. Ralulin, my brother, has spent a lot of his time when it's not necessary for him to be by our father's side, sort of searching through the woods and finding out what information he can, but updates from him are few and far between, as it's not exactly often that we get to run into each other with him, or with both of us having to take on many of the responsibilities of leading the clan.
Oh, it's a plan.
Well, Fuck, I don't remember what the word is. We'll go with clan, though. Fuck it. The family. Or the house,
Yeah.
that's what I was calling. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because when you said family, I was, just thinking that maybe you were just, the normal group of people.
No.
No.
So I don't know who or what father intended for you by getting that letter to you, or if that was even him himself that did it. But that's, at least I suspect, what's going to be what you're going to be brought into.
Slight question.
Yes?
If the unfortunate should happen and your father does fall to this disease, who next is in line?
Well, technically the next in line would be Raglan. But, considering his sort of riskier position, it's very possible that it could come down to Zelthar if he were to turn it down. I don't suspect he would, but even then, I can't imagine him wanting to take care of things without either Zelthar or I by his side. Possibly both.
Could that be why he's been called home?
It's very well possible, yes. However, rest assured, I'm doing as much as I can to make sure my father doesn't have an untimely passing.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on this, Salthar?
The first thing comes in mind is maybe Jug might be able to do something. Not turn him into a skeleton, of course, but I saw Jugum use some restorative magic before.
And she might also,
Yeah.
be able to tell what is causing it, because
Mhm.
she's a fan of those necromantic magics that you just spoke of.
Mhm.
She sort of looks over at Jungin, just kind of. A figure that's hard to look away from, if we're being honest, in some aspects. I suppose that could be possible. I'm familiar with what a cleric looks like, at least, based on the. She sort of points towards the large symbol afar, sort of emblazoned across shields. But that doesn't. That'll solve a problem, but I think I think we have a lot more on our plate than that. However, I would be extremely appreciative if she could help with that. I've done what I can with my knowledge of these things, but I fear it might not be enough.
So
Of course.
I have a question.
Yes.
Where do you fall in the line of succession?
After both, if my brother and if Zelthar were to pass, then I would be head of household.
So if we help here and your brother doesn't take the position and abdicates it to Zelthar and Zelthar doesn't want it, then it just goes to you, right?
Yes, it would. Technically, yes, it would. There would be some members within the house that would not be totally satisfied with that, but that would be the position on paper, at least.
On
And
paper.
have you any other siblings? Or other family members?
Aunts, uncles, those type of things. I can imagine if something were to happen to all three of us, it would go to one. It'd be going to one of them.
Again, I'm not suggesting that you all would die. I think there's a lot of assumptions involved with that one.
I was getting that feeling. Thank you for reassuring me. I'd really, I have a strong preference to not do so. And I'd much prefer my brothers to not die as well. But with that being said, Zelthar, I'm going to ask the question that I had asked earlier. Are you sure you want to go back in there?
Like my answer from last time, I don't want to regret if something bad happens.
Okay. So be it. And with that, oh, go ahead.
Is your father? Sorry, I have more questions. Is your father Zelthar elder for elven years?
I'm
Older?
sorry. Could you say that again?
Elderly for elven years.
He's he's well aged, I would say, but he still has quite a bit of fight in him. It's very possible that he's around for another century or so, maybe two.
Well,
Right.
we can deal with the matter of whether what happens with Zelthar's coming back here after we take care of everything else. I think one thing at a time.
Agreed.
All
Of
right.
course. Could it be the case that the Eric's house, could they be drawing the life energy from the taiga in this area to use in some sort of necromantic purpose?
So I mean, it's possible, but I can't understand what would draw them to do that. While they may not be as inclined to the more natural methods as us, they live off this forest just as much as we do, and if it were to fall, it'd be inevitable that they would either fall or leave.
So then what do they have to gain by their...
And that's part of what we're still trying to find out. Go ahead.
Is it possible that they're not aware of it?
Maybe it's the cynicism in me, but something gives me but I don't trust them enough to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Final question from me.
Oh yes. Hello.
What is with when we were making our way here, there were quite a lot of creatures encased in ice. Why? What causes that?
Yes. He's considered one of the, how do you say, sort of terrain hazard in the area. While he goes by no official name, at least as long as stories have been told since we were children, he's called the Great White, and we assume it's a he, is rather old, and not so particularly friendly white dragon.
Oh,
Chromatic ones aren't very friendly. Right, white dragon. Okay.
No, I haven't had a chance to speak to him, nor have many other had a chance to speak to, at least that I've met that spoke to him. So we do our best to just camouflage the parts of the village we can, but we are close to the edge of his territory, so we don't have to pay too much mind to it.
And when you say aged, is it a mature dragon or an age-old dragon?
Well, I don't know if this is the dragon, or how long it's been there, but for as long as I've been alive, and my father and his father's father, we've known that there's always been a white dragon
It's quite old
who's
then.
lived in the area. And
Okay.
it's possible it's quite old, but stories have changed, looks have changed, and we have no way to be certain it's been the same one all this time.
Right, I imagine it's a lot of looking up through blustery skies and seeing a shadow amongst the clouds.
Usually once you see that, you're not there to tell the story anymore.
Quite good analysis. Shikrono.
Could you perhaps point on this handily map that I have where his territory is, so we can not go into it ever again?
Well, if you plan on leaving the Frosted Edge, I can't guarantee you won't pass through it again.
Oh, I should also ask, do you have any teleportation circles in your house?
He sort of looks at you confused. I'm sorry?
You know, transport from one area to another instantly? Like that?
Well, I'm not familiar with the circle to do so. I don't know quite what that means.
Oh, and usually I only ask because you're apparently an important family, so you might have one in your village, city, town. They're created by wizards, sorcerers, permanent teleportation circles.
Yes. No, we don't use those to get around. The Eric family might have one, but we don't. We don't. What's it called? Use those too often. We have a wizard who occasionally comes and visits, but he doesn't use the circle or anything like that.
Did you say that your other brother travels around the area a lot?
Yes, he's been trying to look into whatever's happening with the Eric family, what they've been up to, and hopefully find some solution to the problems we've been having. He's Go ahead.
Go ahead, finish.
He's not exactly the druidic type like I myself. He's much more like Zelthar, except with a blade rather than a bow.
Has he ever mentioned finding a sigil on the ground anywhere?
A sigil? No, I can't say I have, but if you were to return and ask him, I'm sure he could give you more information. I wouldn't know about that myself. He's been rather private with some of his information. He's quite suspicious of many of the people in town. Or not in town, but... So he's been wary about what to give out, but as far as he's shared with me or my father, a sigil on the ground, I don't think there's anything like that. Strange creatures and the things along those, but nothing... At least nothing that he recognized to be there.
Concentrated in any one area, or is it all over?
It's mostly in sparse spots, bits, areas of what seems to be almost like desecrated ground. But as you move further north and closer along the mountains, it seems to intensify. But I chose not to go further by myself. In fact, I was actually, when I had just run into you, I was looking to see if it had spread this far, coming southwards at all, but it seems that's not to be the case as of yet. I'm very glad Zelthar was with you, because that could have been very unfortunate. That was...
How long has it been going on?
She thinks to herself, maybe over the course of 6 months, I would say. Maybe less. While it is of no fault of his, when Zelthar left, Zelthar had quite a bit of renown, whether he likes to admit it or not, between the houses. And when he chose to lead this life, there was a bit of a power imbalance in the houses temporarily. So we suspect that could be part of what caused the Eric family to push onto this if it was intentional. And it was around that time where news really started to spread. My father tried to keep it under wraps as much as he could, but certain secrets have a tendency to make their way out.
Why can't you just leave whenever you feel like it?
Can someone softly scowl?
Yes.
And she sort of does for a second. She sort of sits. This may be knowledge that you are ignorant of, but these very far northern lands are one of the first gathering places of the elves in Revedia. Before everyone had left to go their separate ways, and the drow had taken off to whatever direction they had, and the wood elves gone off to whatever part of this godforsaken continent. This was the first home of the elves once they had left the Feywild. And we intend to preserve it as best as we can for as many generations as we can. We do all have the option to leave, but there's a history here.
In fact, Sparks, the Moving Wilds once, walked upon these various spots. So if there's still any places of power left, there could very well be, and Kalis gestures to the forest around us, any of these trees could be Ents. It's wonderful, isn't it?
It's looking at every tree. Oh god!
It's just such a magical place.
Shakrana,
Where? Kill them. Kill
Oh
them.
my god.
Shakrana,
Yes.
We're done.
do your histories say anything about an archipelago in the distance, about a month or so sail away from here that elves went to?
Sort of. No, not to my knowledge at all. That's. Yes. Yeah, no, I can't say I've ever heard of anything like that. I know that there have been elves who have traveled towards the areas of the King's Basin and across the mountains and live there, but islands, no, not to my knowledge. But once elves tend to leave, their history isn't exactly recorded. At least here they aren't.
Because we did, I remember what you're talking about. We did get that sunken journal in the ocean rift of Carrie Kazam's. It was written in Elvish.
Yeah, it'd be
So
more
is
than
there?
yeah, it'd be more than a month then from here because we're in the northeast and that's the northwest, so it'd be probably 4 months.
Too damn far.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, is there any way we can in universe, would there be any difference between I guess Wood Elven or
Dialects?
High Elven dialect, or in the sort of etymology of names or anything like that?
There, of course, on paper there is. On the papers I wrote down, is there yet?
It's okay, Kalis didn't read that stuff anyway. He's not smart enough to figure that out. I'm just curious.
Noted for the future. I'll keep that in mind because that's something it's 100% valid. I just hadn't considered it because it would be a different dialect from the from like a Drow Elvish and the Elven you three would be familiar with. Hey, cut that shit out.
Lauren, Lauren.
Best friend.
Oh.
But yes, I'm not familiar with any. Once the elves went their separate ways, I'm not familiar with where they all decided to go.
Okay.
Alright, I'm just gonna mute myself real quick to let Luna out the room before she growls at me again.
Shall we? Are you ready to go see your father, Zelthar, or?
I think I think that would be the best option since time is limited.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, did I mute myself? Yeah, I did. Good job, Elijah. So, as you guys begin getting up and heading off towards Word's Hard, I think. Towards the area. What is it called? Shakrana sort of looks back towards you as you're walking. Zelthar, just so your friends are aware. She's sort of looking back at you all. The Rohorns are just but one of the few of the houses that make up the Boreal Court. Please, recognize that you are outsiders while you are here. And note that if anything goes too awry, our power to defend you is limited among the other houses. I'm not sure exactly how you'd put it in your words, but I've heard. I think, how does he put it? If you fuck around, you will find out. I think it's something to that effect.
Duly noted. So is she walking ahead of us as kind of like a group, like as a guide?
Yeah.
I kind of want to like motion for everybody to kind of hang back a little bit more so she gets a little bit further like out of earshot, like without her noticing, and just kind of be like, I don't think the issues in this forest are being caused by necromancy, because in the vision that Jigun's brother had, there was a sigil on the ground in a snowy place. I think it might be the Shadowfell coming in. We're preparing to.
Yeah. I don't
I
want
bet
to
if we
fight
go
my
north
shadow.
into those mountains, I bet if we go north in those mountains where it's more intense, we'll find that somewhere.
But it's cold.
You have a fur coat.
We came prepared.
So, it's still cold.
Put on another fur coat.
That's a good point, Taryn. And a bewailing one.
That's why I asked if their brother might have heard anything about it. So I think it might be worth asking him, or if he doesn't come back while we're there, like, trying to find him and ask him.
But it adds up. Yongbyong only said he saw a sigil in the snows. That could have been anywhere, and if none of the trackers and hunters have come across it, then it would make sense for it to be in the mountains, Cradle.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds
And
about right.
Yeah, and this has only been happening the last 6 months, she said. So,
Yes, since the last solstice.
Zelthar,
Yes.
is your family or your father like somehow magically tied to the land? Like, if he only fell sick in the last 6 months or so, is it maybe because the land is also falling sick?
I'm not quite sure about that, if I'm being honest.
If you'd like, you could either give me a history or a arcana check.
Totally. I suck at both, okay.
Oh my god.
Oh, you don't suck
Right.
that bad, apparently. So from what's it called? From what your knowledge of what's it called? The land is. You know that as someone becomes head of household, it's not simply a right of all right, he's dead, time for the next guy. It's more of like a ritualistic and like druidic process where they become tied to like the elven homeland. So it is possible for if something terrible to happen to the land, something could happen to him as well.
Okay. That's actually really cool. Well, not that, but like.
I get what you mean.
No. Yeah, I just relay that information. Without the I don't know part.
Whoever's causing this evil, we need to find them and put an end to them. They can't be let to kill an entire forest.
Or the mortal plane.
That's a good point. If sickness is not excised, it will spread.
I prefer the mortal plane option than the single forest you're going on about. You know.
Well, forests are mortal planes, so we save one, we save both.
I mean,
Luckily.
there are forests elsewhere.
So fucking pedantic.
So let's just insert a really long Kalis lecture about like the interconnectedness of nature, and just assume that happened.
I'd
And-
be willing to bet that there's nothing that can be done for your father except maybe to stabilize his position, stabilize his condition, and I don't know if it's worth talking to this other family or not. I don't know that they're even.
Okay, if they have a teleportation circle, it would be. That's the only thing I care. Because then we can come back if we need to really quickly. I mean, to be honest,
Fair.
I just need to see it.
That's
And
also
then,
true.
If they are magically inclined, it would make sense for them to have such an implement.
mm-hmm.
Fair
I
point.
think, right? Kind of looks to Sparks.
Yes. He says being the wild magic sorcerer, not the wizard.
Look, I'm to the like forest wilderness boy. That's like
Hey, you're the best we got.
this. Just for context, I remember I bought just a giant bear coat,
Oh
bear
yeah.
fur coat last session. So like Kalis, it's not like there's no hood because obviously antlers. So it's just like pulled over his shoulders, and basically just like all along the neckline and like down the sort of fold in the front, you get like the little like ferret and like squirrel heads just peeking out and just popping out. So it's like a fur sandwich, which is a terrible way to put it, but it's just like
Just like at night, if someone shines a light on you, it'll just be like these eyes dotted all over the place.
yeah, just they're tucked underneath because they're not
How
all
deep is the snow that we're walking in?
Let me remember. It's around springtime right now. What would that be in? I'm gonna make up a number because I don't remember exactly. So we're gonna say it's probably like maybe 5 or 6 inches of snow, but it's a lot of it's like that compacted snow, and it's kind of a trudge for actually Sparks to move through. Now that I think about it, because yeah, that's actually sort of a pain in the ass. Now you got Ring of Water walking. You're fine.
Does that count?
In Kalis's wake.
Frozen water, I suppose.
Now this is one of those fun water walking loopholes, like how Sparks was trying to do like 3-dimensional
Fucking just
like
fucking
air platform like calculation nonsense at the bottom of the ocean.
Also, are elves in D&D like they are in Lord of the Rings, where they walk
Just
on snow?
France. on the
as
snow.
opposed to sink deep into the. They just walk along it on top.
Well, elves are weird. You know how it go.
Yeah.
Is this a reference to some random scene from The Hobbit, or is this a reference to LOTR
It
canon?
was the first Lord of the Rings film when they're walking along the mountains and Legolas just calmly walks across the snow and Gandalf is like 4 feet deep.
Going through, and like, this is like, come on, guys.
Huh.
It's an extended scene.
I see. I see.
We were
Yeah.
it should have been the movie.
So, as you guys eventually make your way towards these, I don't even know what to fucking call it, to be honest. I feel like town or city is like the wrong word for it, but like sort of
Settlement.
no, I wouldn't
Hamlet?
settlement.
Hamlet?
What is it
It would-
called? Call it by its name.
If someone interrupts me, I'm gonna fucking god, fucking cast Meteor Swarm. You fucking won't be able to stop me.
So what's your uncle's middle name, by the way?
Oh my god.
So, fun fact: when Zolthar gave me his backstory, he never named this place. It's just a village and forest.
Well, you could make up the names.
Sorry.
Hey! Why are you assuming I didn't?
Because you've called it village, town, hamlet 6
No,
times.
because I'm doing it because I don't know what a good reference to size is because it's not set up like a normal town. I'm gonna fucking describe it and you shut the fuck up.
Okay.
But strung along, what's it called? These sort of tops of trees and along. It's like this forest city, like those. My best example is gonna be Fort Tree City from Pokemon because that's how it fucking rings in my head.
I don't know what that is.
Basically, it's a giant like setup of these various sort of tree houses and large buildings set along like the actual above the actual forest floor. Where a lot of these people are living. And as you guys begin walking into this area, you can immediately feel what seems to be a very large amount of eyes on all of you the entire time you're here. And she just simply mutters back, just keep looking forward. Don't pay them no mind. They just want something to gossip about. And eventually, as you guys move towards the eastern section of this pretty large area, you come across what seems to be this large tree with the trunk sort of split along the middle and sort of turning into this large Y. And you see this beautifully crafted house standing above you all. Oh, is that how it looks like in the new games? That is beautiful.
Did we are we on the ground level now, or
You're
are we...
you're on the ground level currently.
So
Uh,
this is the White Tree house is like an elevated sort of thing?
Yeah, it's up. And as she sort of what's it called? Looks over at you and she sort of gestures to the ground where she uncovers what's it called? What seems to be like a vine that was sort of hidden. Not a vine, but rope, because there's no fucking jungle out here. She sort of slips her foot in and gives it a tug as she sort of up towards the top section. And she's standing up there waiting for you all to join her.
Sorry, just one question. Like, how many structures are there around?
From what you guys have seen, it seems to be pretty large. It seems to be at least like several dozen of various sizes. Not just of like these large houses, but others what seems to be like more like shops or like tanneries or things like that. Despite being elven and them seeming to have some pretty stuck-up traditionalist, like facades, outwards there's definitely a lot of more like traditional, like laborious like things that they seem to be doing here as well. Do you mind? Sorry, go ahead.
This is absolutely gorgeous here.
It's been a while. I said it's been a while since I've been here. Kind of forgot.
So through your house is so cool.
Thank you. I can't remember who built it, but definitely let them know.
Yes, like that. That's a perfect image, Sparks. Thank you.
Oh, it's so pretty.
See.
So
my internet's having difficulty.
it's okay. I'll just draw it out with my finger on screen, and you can imagine. So there's like a twirl, and there's like this, and there's okay. All right. I didn't know how long I could go with that, so that could have got pretty awkward fast. So.
Yeah, it would be more snowy.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
As fuck was that? As you guys all eventually make your way up towards the top, I assume everyone's coming up towards the top. You can stay below if you'd like, but fuck it. I don't know I'd want to. Eventually, you guys are brought into the building, and you see as she swings the door open, sort of standing there, or not standing there, sitting on a chair about 30 feet ahead of you guys, is this sort of very stern-looking elven figure, maybe slightly taller than Zelthar, and you see where, in place of like the lean-bodied type of Zelthar, is still the normal leanness of an elf, but a lot more defined, like bulk and muscle. And he sort of looks up over at the door, and then looking past with a confused look on his face. What are these people? Just I'll just step aside, and then what's it called? As she steps aside, revealing Zelthar, you see him immediately stand up. What's it called? To his full height at attention and begin striding towards you, Zelthar. Getting about probably about 4 or 5 inches, like directly from you. You see like this sort of stern look across his face, and a lot of you is that sort of weird tension where you're not exactly sure whether or not Zelthar is about to get hit or not. And then you see this one arm sort of swing back for a second, and you feel it quickly wrap around your neck, and brought close to just like, what the fuck? Holy shit. Oh, language. Elves don't curse like that. Haha, I guess.
What the
Jesus. No, not Jesus either. Fuck. Shit. God. Where have you been? And she sort of like to just pull stuff off you, shaking you in place. Talk!
Around the world.
Go!
I'm
What do you mean
talking
around the world?
a bunch of places. It was a lot of fun.
And you see the sort of almost like cartoonish like veins sort of pop on his forehead. I'm glad
Revedia? Oh.
I'm glad you had fun. Oh my god. I almost thought you were dead. There's business to attend to. I did not think you'd get the letter. I heard from Varys that you were off adventuring?
Yeah?
Like, what do you mean, yeah?
Just traveling around the world.
What are you, an 80-year-old? Jesus. I'd like to get really angry at you for shirking all the responsibility you had, but there's more important things to be taken care of. Like, Shoshana, we can start with this. As he sort of walks back towards where he was sitting a moment ago. And now it definitely seems he was what's it called, waiting, as he sort of has a sort of not. Let me stop saying sort of. As he has this large sack with this pool of black or this sort of fuck, this pitch black like liquid pooling at the bottom of it. But he opens it up and he pulls out this strange looking head of a creature you don't think you've quite seen before. But it resembles that almost of a direwolf, but the skin or the fur of it is pitch white and pockmark upon it. It's almost like these crystalline structures coming out of it. Let me just probably
So this
better
is-
show an image.
Or the hand.
Say it again.
Did you say it was that? What body part did you say it was?
It looked to be a head of a creature.
Okay.
Here, let me.
I don't have a great thing.
There, I put it in the chat. What is this? As long as I've been in the force, I've never seen one of this. Can you? Is it-
I've never seen it before either. Quite strange.
Could I roll a check to see if I recognize that sort of? I mean, is it from this plane or a different plane, basically?
Sure. Go ahead and give me an Arcana roll.
You said it had crystalline growths on it?
Yeah, like those spikes on like the top of its head.
Okay, I'm gonna use my Tides of Chaos. Oh, never mind.
I keep forgetting I have fucking luck. I can roll again.
I'm gonna try. Wait, we don't use inspiration, or not inspiration, but yeah, inspiration. We don't use inspiration in this campaign, do we?
I mean,
Man, if you have an inspiration point, use it, because if I gave it out, I just fucking forgot. Like I technically do use them. I just forget it exists.
I'll just roll a nature check because like this is Kalis's whole career. Fuck me.
we cannot roll for shit.
So bad.
Kalis
Like,
is canon unemployed now.
But as he's standing there and sees a group of like almost like Scooby Doo like heads pop into the doorway, all taking a look at it, just like boom, boom, boom. He finally acknowledges that you people aren't elves. Sort of looks, and you brought outsiders.
Appears so.
You-
They're all friendly.
And we love what you've done with the place.
For your sake, and for your friends' sake, Zelthar, I hope they are very friendly.
Don't worry about it.
Jesus.
So, anyways, I'm gonna introduce them. This one's Kalis up here, right behind me.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Taryn, and there's Sparks, and there's Jungum. Everybody, this is my brother Roland.
I figured.
Sparks in Elfish will say, "Honored to meet you."
And as he hears you, what's it called? It's like common will do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is turning into quite the predicament. Well, you know what you have to do now. I assume you're ready to speak with him, and you know he is going to take this even worse than I just have.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I understand.
Well, there's
Should
no.
we stay?
It would definitely be best if you were not to be in the room. just shakes his head and just gestures, "Let's go," as he begins walking up the stairs. And we're gonna go on a quick 5-minute break. Because
Dun,
I,
dun, dun.
yeah, I remembered. I should probably go to the bathroom now. So yeah, we'll be back in like 5 minutes, and we'll see if Zelthar gets his ass chewed out by his papa, or if it has to stay the way around. See you guys in a couple minutes. 2, 1. Hello. We're back. I lied. It was more than 5 minutes, and the truth is, you're not going to do anything about that. So, as we just left off a moment ago, as our good old buddy, old pal Zelthar was being brought upstairs to speak with his father, and the rest of the party was staying below with Shakrana. So,
Yay! Woohoo!
as you begin making your way up this spiraling staircase, winding up one of the Y, like the arm sections of the tree trunk, and you eventually end up to the door of where your father's quarters and studies would be. You see Roland sort of look back at you, says, not really saying much, just sort of giving you a look and just shaking his head, and then giving a brief knock. Father, your sons are here. And you hear sort of a rough voice. Open the door, just and you see an elven figure standing across the room. At this point, sort of hunched over a bit, as both you and your brother are not towering over him, but definitely have a small height advantage. He sort of gives out this sort of this this sort of wet, sort of hacking cough. So it's plural now. He sort of looks back towards the two of you. Well, I take it you've got my letter?
Yes, I did.
Surprised you listened. That seems like it's been a while since you've done that. Hasn't been too long, of course, but still hurts just as much. So, welcome home for as long as you plan on being here before you mysteriously disappear again. Have a seat, both of you. And Roland sort of just briefly nods his head, pulls out a chair and has a seat, and offers you one. What's it called, next to him?
Thank you, brother. Yeah, I'm gonna go sit down.
So, I've come calling for you for 2 reasons. One, if you'd be able to solve this issue, because I simply do not have the abilities to do so on my own, as much as your brother and sister are able to do for me. If there was an issue that just they could solve, it would have been by now. And 2, if on the off chance that we are to be unsuccessful, I cannot explain why, but something gives me the feeling that if this is the cause of my passing, it will not be a peaceful one. And you will be needed to hold your duty to make sure the people of House Rohorn stay safe from any external sources, be it House Eric or any other who attempt to test the Boreal Court in these trying times. I wrote a will, but it won't be necessary at the moment. I really don't plan on keeling over, but I am prepared. But I've made preparations in case my time will come to do so. So do you have anything to say to me before I continue? Zelthar?
Nothing that comes to mind at the moment.
Sort of, since you're looking indignant for a second, he's like, Not a single thing. Okay. Well, to get started, I'll tell you what I know. Your brother will fill you in on the rest, and then you two will, and you three, will begin on setting right whatever this could possibly be. Around 6 months or so, I'd say more accurate to 8. 8 is when it started occurring, 6 is when I could no longer hide the symptoms. Something strange has been happening in the forest, and I suspect it is House Eric. Because, well, we've seen what they've done before, and I'm not enthusiastic to hand my trust to necromancers, no matter how long they've lived on this land, even if it is the same amount of time that we have. I suspect they are doing something to contaminate the lands, whether it be intentional or not, with their magics. And despite me doing my best to communicate directly with them, they are not known for their forwardness, and they've been quite secretive with whatever rituals they've been up to or anything like that. The plan is fairly simple. I need you and your brother to figure out what's going on in there, and if it can be fixed. And I just pray it's not too late, because if it is, then I really don't know what we're going to do with the people of this land. And at this point, Rowland sort of speaks up, says, and to add to that, you saw the head of the creature below Salthar. I don't think whatever is happening here isn't something that a true member of the Boreal Court would be doing. This is unnatural. It's not how our people should be doing things.
Then why do you expect the Eric family to be doing, or Eric House to be doing this, if it's something that the Boreal Court would never do?
Because to every rule, there are exceptions, and I believe that they are one. It's been a long time, it's been many generations since they've been fully accepted as a house, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was their way of getting payback towards everybody else. My father did not trust them. My uncles did not trust them, and their fathers did not trust them. And I will continue that tradition until I have reason to believe otherwise.
There might be reason otherwise that I know of.
Well, it better be a damn good one. Well, if you know of said reason, please, I would love to hear what you've learned of our people while outside.
I believe that the Eric family is not responsible for the corruption in the forest. I believe it is an attack from another plane called the Shadowfell, and it is bleeding into the forest, and is what is causing you to be sick.
And it's sort of this hacking cough, and you see him take a second to clear his throat and swallow. That's... You come to me after everything we've put together, and you spin to me a tale such as that and expect me... Do you have proof of this? You can't expect me to believe that House Eric would be suddenly pardoned from anything they've done because of something happening from some unrelated group. What interest?
I don't believe blaming an entire house for a problem is going to solve problems either.
Well, it seems that's something. Well, it seems there's a few more things you could learn while you're out there. While you're out in the rest of the world. As I said, I've told you what I've needed you to do. If there's evidence of their mischief or ill doing, I want you to put it back to me. If by some odd and speck of a chance that you can find some way to make me believe that that's not the case, I'll consider conceding it. But that my thoughts on that house will not change. And I must. This is taking up too much of my energy. I cannot deal with this right now. Sort of mutters to himself. Go back downstairs. Discuss this further. I need to rest. And he sort of puts his hand on his head as he sort of, what's it called, leans forward, trying to stop himself from falling onto the table. Do what you will, as he sort of waves you off and has a seat for himself before he collapses. See, at that point,
Nice to see you too.
At that point, Rowland gets up, begins making his way towards the door. Eventually, as he closes behind both of you, he's like, I know he's mad, but I'm sure he is happy to see you alive, at least. It's not that like we had much word of you, other than a few sparse rumors.
I understand.
So, before we go back downstairs, I have something I need to ask you.
Lead the way.
It was a question. I was just going to ask right here.
Okay. Let's definitely do that.
I don't mean it in a disrespectful way, but those people down below. You say that how do you? They're friends of yours, but
Correct.
do you really think they have your best interests in mind? Yes, as someone who has been around you since before you could walk, I look at those people and they seem like an interesting bunch, but I'm already not fond of them being here as it is. If it wasn't Chakran who escorted them in herself, I don't know how far they would have gotten into the village. Or not the village, fuck. Into the city, town, place, settlement, hamlet.
Trees.
Into the forest. The glade. Glade's a good word. I couldn't
That's
think of
a good
that
one.
one.
Yes.
Yes, glade is perfect. I'm sure Chakran already warned you, but keep an eye on them. Not only for their safety, or mostly for their safety around here. The one with the is the different looking one. He seems okay, but I'd just say be skeptical. He sort of
Could
and he
you
sort
clarify who you're talking about?
of
They're all
sort
different looking.
sort of awkwardly, it's like the only other one with antlers.
Oh.
He seems okay. but I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. He's little, he's... Let's go. And,
Thank you for your concern. I'll
public
keep that in
overseer.
mind.
And he begins making his way down the stairs, rejoining the rest of the group. As you guys were down below talking to Shakrana about, like, teleportation circles, who the fuck needs those? And trees are cool. And
How do you become a druid?
Place-
And why?
how do you become a druid?
Give me your druid energy.
So it looks at you confused. What do you mean? You just do. You feel the nature around you, and you just speak to it. It's a pretty straightforward venture.
Oh, you
You've
see,
never
I tried
spoken to a
do
tree.
that.
To
It
15 minutes
explodes
of
every time.
Kalis.
Sorry,
How
Kalis spent all that time just going like, druid nature, like, reaching out.
She's very appreciative of the enthusiasm.
So does not come easy to him.
And she just looks at you. And how do you become a sorcerer?
Yes.
Okay then.
Don't venture into forests if you don't. I have made that mistake. I
That's
don't
actually a
like.
good question, Sparks. How
Nope.
did you become a sorcerer?
Hmm.
He seems to be through a strange amount of discomfort at a simple question. I don't know if that was one that was meant to be asked or not. As she just sort of says a little frankly.
Everybody who actually had to train to do what they do, raise your hand.
She sort of raises her hand.
Sparks looks
Well, it's sort of
Oh, I'm not
6
there.
of one, the Feywild of another, you know. I trained for combat,
Hey,
certainly,
I
but
wanted to be just. I didn't want to be magic, okay? I just walked into a spooky forest and bad stuff happened.
Is that why you're afraid of the trees?
Hmm.
Did a tree do something bad to you? Where did the tree hurt you?
Sparks gestures to himself.
Here. That's just all of you.
so, Sparks, were you born a Tabaxi?
Mhm. Yep.
Okay. Just wondering, because you just kind of
Well,
turn into,
I
like,
was
potted
born a
plants and
black
just...
tabaxi, you see? This is not
True.
black. If you had known.
Kind of close to black in
It is-
chat.
I mean,
It's quite
that's
the
better than
peculiar
if
shade.
you'd been born like an elf and then spooky forest into Tabaxi, wouldn't you say?
How is
wait.
that?
I guess I was...
Did you get turned into a spooky tabaxi?
Look, the the Moving Wilds is not a spooky forest.
Yes, it is.
But if you get lost in there, you stuff.
Is that what happened to you? Did you get lost in there?
Oh yes, I was born a human in Revedia. A long time ago. Not that long, but a mortal long time ago.
How long?
In the summer.
I kind of lost track of time, but 20-ish winters?
Ish.
It's hard to tell.
I prefer the Aborigine way of working out when you were born, and that's just which season, not how many.
I don't
I-
mean.
I'd,
Oh, go ahead.
I'd just say that like it's a little bit clear that Kalis is not like a little bit older than like 18-ish. He's probably on the latter side of 20s, even if he's a animal person.
I don't mean to be rude, but don't deer normally live only around 20 to 25 years?
Well, he was born a human.
But he's a
But he
deer now.
just points in his face.
It's it's Feywild stuff. It's not. They all have longevity.
I see. I was just curious because I've lived here, and this is one of the grounds of the Moving Wilds, but I've never seen someone quite like you. So I was just. Well, this seems awkward now.
I mean,
Yeah,
how many do you
Just
see?
go into the Feywild. You find some stuff. It's close enough to me, I imagine.
Oh no, I'd rather not. Not again.
What did you see when you were there?
I'm sorry. What was that?
You said you had been to the Feywild. What did you see?
A few peculiar things. You know how it goes. Some strange mishaps. Guess some things that stuck. I wasn't there for long, but there was a deer, absolutely gorgeous, standing by this sort of small moonlit pond, as it was drinking, and then as another deer approached, to drink from the same pond in the relative safely, the first deer turned into a mist and devoured it.
Oh, that is not where I thought that story was going.
I've never seen anything quite like it. They say that's the home of many natural things, but I feel like there's things there that sort of go beyond natural.
Yep.
Oh, are you familiar with the place?
Mm-hmm.
It really is the best natural place. Just the
No.
best type of nature.
It's really not.
Have you been in the Feywild
Everything's.
before, Spark?
Mm-hmm.
What was that, Sparks? I didn't catch that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I think
Are you
he's saying
humming?
yes, but quietly.
Did you have powers before or after the Feywild?
After.
Excuse me? What? I didn't catch that.
Sparks is just getting very uncomfortable.
Kalis
it-
grabs Sparks by the shoulders and it's like,
No, his first standing up. That means he's scared.
I know I'm
Not
coming
the
up, so
fact
we
that he's
won't
being
run.
lifted off the ground by Kalis.
Not
Just
lifted off the ground. I'm just like,
I mean, if you want to
What do you
look
mean?
into his eyes, you have to lift him up. You're like 7 feet tall.
Like,
well, you'll tell us when it's time.
He squeaks now.
Well, that was rather strange.
You put me down.
I didn't lift Sparks up. I'm not like benching the sorcerer.
Sparks recoils to the corner and is slightly quieter than usual.
So point of order. Who do we know who the firstborn son of the Rohorns is?
Yeah. You mean Raulin?
yeah.
Yeah, he's been standing about 20 feet away, arms crossed, just watching you guys.
Oh, so he's the older one.
Yeah, he's the oldest.
I was confused because it seemed to default to Zelthar.
No, what Elijah said that is if Rahun turned it down, then it would be Zeltha.
Oh. Thought that was the other way around.
Okay. So,
Where are we going now, Zeltha?
No, I've got some questions first.
Yes, Zelthar. Could we get going sometime soon? Your friends can tag along if they'd like, but I'd like to at least get a start before the sun falls.
Where are you going?
Northwards of here.
How
Could you be
far
more
north?
specific?
We're going to sort of looks, and Zelthar and I had plans to check out the lands around House Eric to see if there were any more signs of anything suspicious, and if there were, we were going to see what we could find out.
You guys probably need backup. Mm-hmm.
Have House Eric always practiced necromancy?
For as long as I've been aware of, yes. And they've always been treated as such.
I see.
How far north have you gone? Like how deeply have you investigated the corruption of this land?
I do not have full liberty to go as far as I'd like to, given that I must return here if necessary. So maybe about 20 to 25-mile radius around the area.
Have you been to where it's the most intense, or no?
I've yet to fully been able to get there. I've gotten areas of greater intensity, but I feel like I've not yet reached any sort of epicenter of whatever's happening.
Is House Eric in a location where it's more intense?
The house specifically, no, not where they stay, but one of their supposed areas of operation is up north that way. House Eric is one of the few houses that occasionally does dealings with groups outside of the Frosted Edge, and that is one of their sort of meeting areas. There's a group of dwarves who live in the mountains, along the Queen's, or what's it called, to the north, east, northwest of the Frosted Edge, who they've been known to do some dealings with. So I suspect it might be sort of an outpost or something out there that they could be doing this at. They're smart enough to keep the majority of whatever illicit activities they do out of the city itself, or out of the glade itself. However, not smart enough to not get caught for it.
May I, I know I rolled low, but, can I look at, just the physical appearance of the crystal going out of the wolf?
Okay, yeah, sure. So looking at it, it appears to be like, this, almost like this sort of, like, dulled ruby. Is this, like, sort of long, like, lengthwise, like, structurally, it's almost like, because it's sort of like, tube of, like, quartz, like this longer piece of quartz sticking out of the top of the head, but it has this, like, dull red to it.
Okay.
Is it shiny in a way that Sparks would like?
It's,
Or is it sort of, is it a dirty jewel as opposed
it looks
to...
like, it looks more dirty than, like, shiny, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
And, pursuant to that, I'd like to ask, Ralalan and, Shakrana, does this blight only affect the creatures of the forest, or does it affect, how are the trees affected and tainted?
Chakran sort of speaks up. From what I can diagnose of them, most have resulted in weathering. Some have. There's been a few terrible incidents, as she recalls what seems to be one of what could have been one of the few treants or like ant creatures left from the forest, turning into like this sort of black and like corrupted mess. And they basically had it had become violent to the point where they couldn't leave it be, and they had to destroy the ant. Say yes.
No.
But
Did you say they had to destroy the ants?
it was just one that Rutherland and I had to. I assume it was just caught up in its slumber in whatever has been taking over the forest.
That is a
But-
horrible loss
Yes.
for this land to suffer.
Hopefully it will be the last. But it goes beyond that. Natural food sources, berries, fruits, things like that have become inedible.
Have you tried burning out the corruption? I have heard of people of your order. I look at Shakrana, that prefer to use fire in that regard.
Fire is effective, that is true. However, it depends heavily on where you live, and burning things in the woods out here is not too efficient of a way to get things done. She points to the ground.
It is the best way to get corruption, though.
Sparks.
No.
No.
No, not me. I have met personally while I was in the Emerald Lane a druid of the fire variety, which is why I ask.
No, yeah, see, your friend does bring a very valid point that fire can be a cure to illness of the forest, but due to where we are and my current abilities, that is not one that's available to us. Maybe if it were to be an extremely dry season for a bit of time, it'd be possible, but that has not yet happened.
But even in the best of times, fire is such a harsh remedy. The creatures that have been weakened by the taint cannot begin to regrow. They just die.
Many creatures can grow on the ashes of others. It's part of the natural cycle. However, moderation is the key there. A fire is helpful. A fire that goes unchecked leaves nothing left for there to be regrown.
Exactly.
So I understand what your friend is saying. I just don't think it is a method that necessarily applies to us here. But aside from that, Roland speaks up. But aside from that, there's been, what do you say, a few agitations from creatures as well. This being the first home of the elves, it's known to have quite the presence magically. And due to that, some of the more magical creatures, as he sort of gestures towards the head, have been agitated or changed in certain ways. Some of which a little bit harder to handle than our friend over there. We've gotten a few reports of things that would be best to avoid, but it may be inevitable that we come into contact with these things at one point or another. I'm sorry, let me just... Where is it at? Are you familiar with, Oh my god, Elijah, you lost the page. You're supposed to look cool here. You're having a moment. But, are you familiar with, ice wolves? Or blizzard wolves?
Winter wolves.
Winter wolves? Not something along those lines, but a little bit more literal.
Are you talking about the wolves that breathe ice, or
No, I'm talking about wolves made of storm.
no? I don't know about Kalis. I have never.
Wolves made from stone or from storm?
Storm. Sculpted of blizzards. They don't exactly have a completely a physical form as one would expect, but they can still be quite dangerous, and I
They're
have
like air elementals, but in the shape of wolves.
sort of. If that's a more primitive way to look at it, but you could.
It helps me visualize.
Yes.
I mean, there were sylphs in the Feywild, but nothing so. I've not experienced anything so inclement in my lifetime.
That's for the best. So, just if you were all to join us, I'd say be on guard. There's many creatures, not only of this realm, that sometimes cross over into these woods, and I don't presume any of them are happy about the current situation. So, with that, I assume that we are ready to set off, or would you all like to, or did you all plan on waiting until what's it called, day or night time?
No, I think we can go now.
Perfect.
Agreed.
So, fucking scroll, asshole. Sorry. Mouse is fucked. So,
So,
oh,
question, Shakrana. How far away is this place that we're going? Did you say?
I should be able to get there by the end of the day.
We could.
Shouldn't.
I don't know if you have this gift, but we could probably go faster if you could turn into a giant eagle, and we could fly our group there.
He sort of looks at you, says, yes, we could, but I feel like it is maybe a bit presumptuous to say, but I feel like it is a tad bit beneath me to have strangers ride me over the forest.
I mean, you could carry them with your claws.
I appreciate the attempt, but I already have a way for us to get back. I think you'll be able to handle the walk to get there.
Hey,
You seem tough enough. Look at you. You're all...
the snow is cold on my paws, okay? I don't like it.
Oh, is that... Why didn't you say that? As she sort of steps aside for a moment, you see her kind of walk towards this open door, walk into what seems to be a fucking huge closet, and
Cat.
bring out the...
Kittens. Cat.
and brings out these massive woolly, basically like these like Ugg boots that go up to like his fucking knee. Like here, you should solve that problem.
Kitten.
Wearing shoes is weird. Feels weird. Well, he takes them and complains as he puts them on and stands extremely awkwardly in them. Starts taking sort of large, white steps.
I mean, if you don't want to wear them, you shouldn't need to. I mean, it's not that cold walking up here, Kayla says, panning down to his hooves.
Grins at him.
Has Kalos ever been horseshoed?
I don't think that you.
No.
I don't
You
think
don't-
you would, but like,
I
Something
mean,
to
his
think
hooves
about.
are probably hecking long right now. It's probably
Well-
uncomfortable.
It's a cloven hoof. You don't shoe them.
oh yeah, no, yeah, he's not a horse.
I don't know. Is he not? He carries a lot of things, like a horse.
If Kalos started making that sound, I'd be pretty fucking worried.
Yeah.
It's not Jack.
Delete character. The question for the party: who has the Ring of Warp? And wants to use that?
Question.
I thought it was you because you wanted to keep your animals warm.
I mean, I don't have to use it. I'm just wondering.
I don't know if I do. I don't think I do.
I don't think I do either. Yeah, because I wanted the jump ring.
Nope. I've got the necklace of adaption.
So, like, if I swap in the Ring of Warmth, I could. If anyone wanted to use this Ring of Haste, basically, I couldn't use that at the same time. So
You
I
could.
Well, I mean, yeah, I just have a lot of stuff on my character.
But haste, though.
Right. I guess we could probably settle that more with when Jurgen comes back.
Alrighty. So, as you guys begin setting off, making your way to the edge of the glade, as you see, what's it called? The sort of forest set out before you all. See, what's it called? Shakrana looking back, sort of deciding in the midst of whether just there goes, looking towards you, Zothar. I'm not fully comfortable leaving him here on his own. Can you all handle this? Or, well, I guess, well, you need a way back, but... Do you think you'll need me along the way? If so, I can always come to you, but I'd feel safer knowing someone has an eye on him, as she sort of gestures back towards the house.
I think we can most definitely handle ourselves.
Okay.
Thank you.
What's it called? In her palm, what's it called? Is a sort of carved, like, bit of antler, almost out of like a small, what's the word? Like horn. But not like a horn isn't a horn, but like a horn isn't a horn. Like, you know.
Those come from. They still come from horns.
Yeah, but this is different because D&D is fake. But it's like it's like one of those, like a horn you blow into, but carved from an antler. A small piece of antler, about the size of your palm.
Okay.
If you need me, use it. I'll be there as soon as I can. Please be safe, both of you. I'm sorry. All 5 of you. I lost count. You too. Yes. I'm turning around now. She sort of awkwardly makes her way back towards the building.
Oh, that's right. We have horses that we're riding. We rode here on.
Oh God, I forgot.
So, like, I don't know. I'm fine to take mine on this journey, or we could just leave him here in the village, I guess. Depending on, I guess, what our resident trackers, the tracker family says is wise.
So, like, really snowy, like, harsh winter conditions on the way there? Like,
is that you asking? Or is that, like...
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Give me a survival check.
Okay. Let's take it forever. Dirty 20.
While the skies are relatively clear right now, you do get that sort of sense of like a storm brewing.
I would like to not take my panther Uber into the...
I forgot about the fucking panther.
Yeah, it's a panther, not a horse.
Oh, yeah.
You could have had like a snow leopard or something instead.
Yeah, but they didn't have any. They only had a panther. I give the panther the snow Ugg boots.
I would advise not taking any horses there.
Especially if you run into something, they're more likely to get in the way. Roland adds to that.
And I was preparing such a nice coat for him, too.
I'll make sure he's well taken care of.
Kalis does like the grab the dog face thing and gets ready to leave.
The panther needs to be fed twice a day, otherwise it starts trying to eat people.
Duly.
I want to play ball. Children go running fast.
We've tamed much mightier animals than this. Shakrana sort of grabs your panther by the reins.
No, there is no reins. There's no saddle. I just sit on its back.
So you just have a panther that's just like, all right, bro, bet, and you just, all right, okay. You know what? I've just got.
You think you could put a saddle on a panther? Come on, you're not that insane.
I'm gonna be real. I don't think you can ride a panther off rim, but
I'm a tiny cat on the top of another slightly bigger cat.
yeah, that's called prey.
It's called Snack.
Alright. But yes, as the animals are taken care of, and you guys begin setting off, what's it called, northwards. The journey, at least on Rowland's end, is made mostly in silence, apart from the occasional pointing out of landmarks towards you, Zelthar. You would know most of these by now, and feels almost slightly condescending in a way. As he's sort of pointing out the areas of the forest that you were in not even that long ago. So, shouldn't be too much farther. After about a few hours into this endeavor. And Zelthar, you and Roland would be the first to hear it, but sort of in the distance, you hear this sort of piercing, like howling sound. It sounds pretty far away, but you definitely hear it, and you see he immediately raises his hand, stopping the group. From here on out, we be careful. Whatever's out there probably won't be able to get all of us, but I'd rather not have to be lugging corpses back to the glade.
Counterpoint, why don't we ambush it so it doesn't kill us?
Why are you talking about?
Sure, where is it? He sort of looks at you.
His name is Blue
The sound of the howling came from over there. Box points.
Okay, you have a vague direction.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're working off of?
Well, you should probably, go that direction.
Do you know what you're fighting?
A wolf made of stone?
And maybe my description wasn't very good, but do you think this wolf is limited by the same things a normal one is?
I would imagine it could probably fly.
There you go, we add that to the list.
And it's cold.
It's very cold, yes.
So we hit it with fire, it dies. Boom.
I encourage you to try.
I think this might be the most opportune moment for your fireball plan. Not on the forest, on the extraplanar creatures.
See?
Did we say the wolf was made of stone or ice?
It's made of ice.
Ice.
Ice and...
Like blizzard, like air.
Like blizzard, yes. It's a good plan. Just make sure whenever that ambush does happen, you're not the one that draws attention first.
Oh no, I'm very sneaky. I never get hit first.
Are you mocking me?
No,
Why are you talking like that?
because that's how I talk.
It's not.
No, it's not. You weren't talking like that earlier.
I can't help it whenever you do an accent.
Eldritch Blast.
X to doubt.
So just stands there and glares at you for a second. Just remember not to get caught. And he's
stealth introduction to Azuru's new changeling character that just fucking jumped out of the trees and murders Sparks.
That's what happened. That's what happened in the Dark Way back then. Back when you guys were in those fucking caves, they just swapped him out.
Yeah. I was trying to lie. You'd think for a stealthy character I wouldn't get killed first, but I do every fight.
So as he begins casting a spell briefly, and he casts Pass Without a Trace, I need the group to give me stealth checks as you guys continue on northwards.
Ooh, I'm gonna take this opportunity just before I do my stealth check to cast Mage Armor.
Oh no.
That's really low. What the fuck?
Oh, I'm so sneaky.
Oh, I guess 34.
Why'd you get advantage? Oh, you got that cloak.
Yeah.
Cheating.
Is taking advantage of opportunity.
Wait, is 50? 50 isn't bad.
Oh my
I think.
god, we're ridiculous.
5. Boom. Stealthier than the rogue.
We all rolled well.
Shit on roll 20. You know that.
That's fair.
Actual dice is not this bad.
That's what they all say.
It's fine. It's fine. I didn't kill anyone, guys.
Cool.
So, as you guys begin making your way, pretty stealthily according to those fucking rolls. Holy shit, by the way, you fucking 35, 20, or 35, 32, fucking 33, 34. Yeah, no, you're fucking fine. Who gives a
Okay,
shit?
let's like dust this bear cloak in snow, like blend in.
Roll around. No
Fucking,
get all caked all over you.
fucking Bombero cosplay.
Yeah.
But making your way further and further through the forest, you hear as the howling sound begins to pick up more and more, and while not necessarily getting closer, it's not getting closer to you, more as in you're having to move closer to the general direction of it. And eventually, as you guys get to one of the first points, and you see what they were talking about with this sort of like desecrated area, and in maybe like this 15-foot radius, there's a small bundle of trees and brushes, and the first thing you notice is the lack of snow in that actual area. It's almost as everything in that small circle has been melted away to where it's just this. As the ground is turned to like this soft, like pitch-like material, almost having like the consistency. What's it called? If you would actually touch it to something like what's the word? Almost like wet sand, as opposed to like fertile dirt. And all the trees in the area have had the pine needles of which completely fall off of them. As you've seen plenty of dead trees, this definitely appears to be a grouping of them.
Can I like sniff the dirt and like see if it reminds me of our journey in the Shadowfell, the terrain there?
Sure.
I want to take a small empty vial and like fill it with dirt.
Okay, that's definitely doable. So, as you do so, collecting a quick sample in Kalis, it doesn't exactly remind you of the soil from the Shadowfell. A lot of the Shadowfell was a lot more like swampy or marshy, or a lot of times it's just like stone. Excuse me. So it doesn't give you that direct feeling, but it definitely has like a more like dead feeling to it. Like it doesn't seem like obvious. Like it obviously doesn't seem natural.
Doesn't smell fertile or like topsoil
No.
or anything.
No, not at all.
Is it similar to ash, or is it something else?
Texture wise, it would be like, oh fuck, I already lost the words. I just said it.
Sand?
Yeah, like sort of like wet sands. Like you could stick your hand through it and move it. It's not even like staying together really properly. It just seems like everything like in it has like eroded.
I see.
At this point, what's it called? Since you guys have all remained so well stealthed, you guys listen as you hear once again this sort of piercing howling sound. and about 100 or so feet away, sort of hard to become visible or hard to be fully visible, you see what seems to be some sort of mass of blue and white. You see Rowland sort of put his hand up and gesture for you guys to lower down as he points it out. And inside of this sort of massive, like, moving blizzard, this maybe 30 to 40 foot radius just surrounding this creature, you see glimpses of this.
Oh, well, that's fucking creepy as hell.
Hell yeah, dog.
Literally.
Hmm.
I take this small opportunity to nudge Kalis and go, ambush, see, we can do it. It's right there.
And you see, or you hear, Rowland from behind you guys. Careful. They normally travel in packs.
Packs? How big is it?
It is a large creature. The
How
actual
many-
creature itself is large, but the aura it gives off is around 20, is like around a 30, 25, no, it's a 15-foot radius.
Roland, how many is a pack?
Keep watching and you'll find out. And you see as it goes sort of bounding through the trees, sort of skirting across the treetops, and you watch as like ice immediately forms over top of which, some of them kind of swaying from the sudden weight. Three more of these creatures sort of bound out from the forest. They don't even appear as if they're going after anything in particular, more as if it's just this sort of wild and like destructiveness going around, just freezing everything, and just very primal like wildness to them.
Do they hunt? Are they drawn to anything?
Only that which they see, and maybe if they see something soon, they might try and go after it, but we should be relatively safe for now. If you're asking about different animals of that sort, they will hunt those if they run into them, definitely. If it's big enough to get their attention.
I mean, we have to go where they are, don't we?
No, we can keep moving past for now.
Take them. He says, never having fought one of the creatures.
I mean, I don't think it would be bad to disperse the elemental energies they embody. After all, this is relatively close to your village, Zolthar.
I
What do you
agree.
think?
I think taking them out might benefit us, but only if we weren't pressed for time at the moment.
Yeah. That's
I see.
I was a double negative. I'm sorry.
my thought too, is that I don't know, I feel like we have things to take care of first, and then maybe
Question I have. Do you actually know where these things come from? Could we perhaps track it back to its lair, and that might be a source of the corruption?
No. I think there's a misunderstanding. These may be agitated because of the corruption, but these have been a part of the forest since beforehand. It's spirits.
Eyes before? I don't like it.
perhaps we should. Perhaps if we solve the issue that's the forest, we solve the problem of them too.
There's only one way to find out. And with that, you hear a sort of sharp, piercing howl kind of reach throughout the air. And I need everyone to make a wisdom saving throw. Just because you're within the vicinity.
You see, my wisdom isn't very good.
Neither's mine.
I think. Well, you see, you have a zero.
I'm a barbarian. I tried
Okay.
to build for wisdom with what I had, but
Kalis, roll a d8.
Actually,
Kalis and Sparks, roll a d8.
Here we go. Roll
Both of your
initiative, buddies.
That's a D4, not a D8. Oh no, it is. It looks weird.
Uno.
D4.
Oh, sorry, you said D8?
yeah D8. I'm sorry. Did I say D4?
You said D8.
You
No,
said
you said
D8.
okay.
My brain might have short-circuited.
Hey, you're double me.
6.
Okay. So, as this maddening wind pierces throughout the air, sort of surrounding you, as you guys feel yourself sort of hit with this sudden brain fog, most of you all manage to resist it as you sort of clenching in place, and you watch as these wolves like sort of converge on this region. Like maybe at this point it's probably about 150 feet out from you because you can barely really see them, but they all go up into the air and there's just massive torrent of ice just rains down on this one specific area. You see as one swoops down and picks up this massive elk and continues flying throughout the air. Completely frozen, not frozen solid, but it's definitely not it's not its best day. It's pretty fucking dead. So Sparks,
But not frozen like the things we found.
No, not like that.
No, those were definitely Ice Dragon Frozen Breath. This is something else.
So Sparks, as this is happening and you are affected by the maddening wind, you do nothing, and you're just babbling there incoherently as you're witnessing this. Kalis, roll me one more d8, please.
Oh, you rolled a good one.
Come on. Give
How
me
loud am I babbling is the question.
It's not like yelling, it's just like, oh, that's good for you. Your strength mod is what? +5, +6?
Oh no. My strength mod, yeah. Well, I have a magic item that makes it +5. Otherwise, it would be +3.
Okay. So you punch yourself in the face for 6 damage. As you're sort of struggling to control yourself as this maddening wind is surrounding you and sort of snap yourself out of it. You were going to just calm yourself down, but your body forcibly just fucking pops right in the side of the head. And you're able to sort of unshake yourself, but not without a very large bruise forming on the side of your face. You're lucky. That could have been towards Sparks. And you watch as the pack moves further to the forest away from you all.
How long do I babble for?
Only one round.
That was weird.
Yes.
Kalis, why did you punch yourself?
It's not his fault. It happens sometimes.
What?
I hope. And sort of looking at Kalis like a questioning look.
Kalis just has a look on his face, just...
Are you okay?
I don't understand what happened there. It was just loud, and then it rang in my head, and then like blood drip down his jaw. That was strange.
Well, I hope that prepared you because there's going to be much stranger things coming up. What the fuck is that image?
Hey, this is what
I was like, hey, notification, what's that? Huh?
This version of the Pikachu meme.
Yes, it is exactly that tone.
Okay. Oh my fucking god.
I feel bad for everybody who may be watching this now or in the future that has no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's fine. Just Google an image of a deer with an open mouth.
So, with that being said, as you guys begin moving your way further and further into it, and you guys eventually pass what seems to be this almost not this invisible line separating a different section of this forest. As you guys move closer to these sort of mountainscapes, it's beginning to tower over you guys even closer. Sort of in this like cutout section, which seems to be maybe a several what's it called? A line going maybe several hundreds of feet across is where the sort of blackening of this area starts and just begins pushing itself deeper and deeper into the forest. He sort of looks at you all, so we've arrived. And this is not the farthest I've been. All I have to say is be on your toes, because I don't know what happens past this part. And because my brain is mush, and I want to do this with hopefully everybody, that's what we'll pick off next session.
No.
Ooh.
Man, I wanted y'all to fight those fucking things.
I wanted to fight.
I wanted to fight them.
Did not.
God, I'm so sad. I really
Alright.
wanted one of my options to be run away so I could have attracted the wolves. That's what I wanted.
I was planning. Okay, so just for everyone's benefit, I was planning to say like, "Hey Sparks, you want to start this fight?" Like if Zaltharan said that, and then not even waiting for your response, I would just say 1, 2, 3, pull, and I would have like chucked you up into the air with the intention of you like midair fireballing the dudes.
That would
I
have
could
been
see
great.
nothing going on wrong with that.
Probably for the best.
Alrighty.
What are you talking? We'll be fine.
Alright, well, just to wrap things up real quick, thank you for watching, blah, blah, blah. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you're on YouTube and you don't subscribe, fuck you, subscribe. That's not how you do those, is it? I don't think that's how you do those. I have to...
Sounds like a YouTuber, alright.
I think I'll revise the script. Alright, have a good one.